Hey everyone, and welcome back to this channel. And in this video today, I just wanted to share with you some of the research that I've been undertaking just to understand the history and reasons that explains why we have tended to vote for Labour in overwhelming numbers. I mean, it's no secret that we do seem to vote on the left, and a lot of conversations have taken place in the mainstream and underground platforms, you know, like myself and other platforms, in which we've noted and that there's a new wave of youngsters coming through, and even people who aren't as young, who are opting for the Tories, and they consider themselves conservative viewpoints, conservative politically, because a lot of times they see Labour as this party of, you know, token ideals, false hope and broken promises. So during my research, I wanted to highlight just a very, very key piece of influential history which helps answer that question. And it starts with the Race Relations Act. Now, in the late 50s and early 60s, to give some wider context to this, we saw riots taking place up and down this country due to the tensions that existed because of the treatment that we'd receive. Of course, I'm referring to, you know, the Notting Hill riots, the Toxteth riots, etc., etc. And during these riots, during the late 50s, early 60s, to add even more context, this took place all under three successive Conservative governments. So during this time, we had three different prime ministers, all Conservatives: Sir Anthony Eden, Harold Macmillan, and Sir Alec Douglas Home. And at the same time, to even give more background, when these riots took place, we actually had socialists, most notably Fenner Brockway. He was a left-wing opposition. He was the one who was trying to put forward a bill to stop racial discrimination. I believe he put it forward 8 times between 1956 and 1964. So you can imagine the time frame it took. So 8 years now in order to try and set a bill or pass a bill which will stop racial discrimination. Seems quite straightforward, but yet it took 8 times, and that was all between the Conservative government. 8 years. And yet it still didn't go through. Now, when the bill was finally introduced, that was under the Labour government when that came back into power in 1964, again, after the end of the Conservative government. And that bill was put in place. To be fair, it was 1965, and it was called the Race Relations Act of 1965. It was the first of its kind, a historic bill, put into act, or given its royal assent, as they say, 1 year pretty much after being put in office. So that's what Labour did to start off their campaign. So their campaign said that you put us in office, or you help us put us in office, and we will put forth this act that would help stop racial discrimination. And they did that in just over a year after being in office, in comparison to Conservatives who didn't do it at all. Now, of course, with all bills of all things, it didn't stop loopholes from being created. It didn't stop discrimination from happening. So new acts, revisions need to be made to legislation, because what we found is that people were being discriminated against when it comes to housing, employment, provisions of goods and services, all these loopholes that you can cleverly find, as people do since the dawn of time. Nothing new. I mean, we all remember the classic line of, you know, no blacks, no dogs, no Irish. So again, over the years, what needed to take place was revised legislations. And there was done. The revised acts, again, Race Relations Act again, it happened in 1968, 1976, and finally in the year 2000. And then what happened in 2010 is it's not called the Race Relations Act, it's called the Equality Act, which pretty much underpinned everything. And so for all those acts that I've mentioned, so 1968, 76, 2000, 2010, guess which government was responsible for putting this all through and making all the revisions? I will save you the time. This was all under the Labour administration. So at no point during any of the years, even from 1960, matter of fact, from 1956 all the way to 2010, in which we have the latest act right now that we currently operate under, not one time did any Conservative government ever put forward a bill to either rectify any loopholes or any issues that they saw from any first bills that was created, or at least to revise it to make it more, whatever it the case. Not one time did the Conservatives make any amendments or make any adjustments to that bill or to the bill of any like kind. And these are the bills that we today, as young people, we all seem to say, oh, we got it so this, we don't get discriminated because of this. This is how it started. It started because the Labour government, when they got into power in 1964, they put it through in 1965. That was the first bill of its kind that set the trend for all the bills, all the acts, which today, we're under the Equality Act of 2010, which not just covers just, you know, race, but it covers gender, it covers disabilities, it covers pretty much everything. But that's how it first started. And I just wanted to, again, I'm going to hopefully in future produce more videos just to help explain the reasons why we have voted for Labour, because this is one of the reasons why. It's no secret. If you have a government that's willing to do this, you will vote for that government. And they went through with their promise. They didn't actually lie to us. They actually came through. So, and just to clarify, this isn't me in any shape or form trying to persuade anyone as to who they should vote for. It's merely for you. I'm just trying to lay out some of the facts and some of the insight that I've been seeing, because this is what I wanted to bring, just to provide some key clarity and insight into why we do, or why we have voted for why we voted, because a lot of these things really haven't been put in the main. So that's all I wanted to share with you today. Let me know your thoughts in the comment sections. Were you even aware of the timeline? Did you even know about these kind of things? Let me know in the comments. Until next time, I'm out.